Welcome back, Wolfpack Villas here, and today we're looking at Mega Sableye. Mega Sableye is a Pokemon that has a lot of power, and that I love putting this Pokemon next to Audino in the same weekend for like talking about strategy guides, because they're effectively the same kind of Pokemon. That when you look at its stats, we have a huge amount of defense, really solid special defense. Only problem on Sableye is that its hit points are lower. Like, it's down 100 points, but it's not weaker by any regard, that it can play its own way pretty well, and the stat distribution is really excellent. Still can use some special attack, and it's just a very strong, reliable Pokemon that Sableye can be annoying enough as it is. And it's just getting a huge boost to its defenses, so now it's going to be even harder to knock out, and it gets a lot of other awesome things going for it. Looking at its typing, we have Ghost Dark, and it's a pretty much only have one weakness, that you have so many immunities, one resistance, and then you're weak against only Fairy. Like, that is probably one of the best things, and it's what makes the difference between Audino and Sableye really interesting, that if you have a team that, you know, you could use, like, you don't need to be weak against Steel or Poison on your team, you already have enough Fairy types, or you already have, like, some kind of other dynamic to where a Fairy wouldn't fit in on your team, you can run Sableye. But in the same regard, that if you already have like a Dragon type Pokemon or two and you're already heavy weak against Fairy, you can run Audino. And these Pokemon will kind of accomplish the same things by being a better, super set up Clefable kind of Pokemon that can just wall out your opponent's entire team and just really shut them down while just making a very effective. Like, I just love tanky Pokemon and tanky battling, so these Pokemon are really cool to break down and discuss because they run so well, and they both have a little different, like, they run differently, which helps them for different situations, and it's just really cool to talk about and see these Pokemon. So I'm excited to go into Pokemon Showdown and further break down Mega Sableye, and this Pokemon has a lot of cool things. So it's going to be kind of the same idea, that we're running heavy defensive bulk with a little bit more special defense. Since the special defense is 10 points lower, I'd like to put it down there just a bit. Also, you get Will-O-Wisp. Since Will-O-Wisp cuts the opponent's attack, you don't have to fully hard invest into the special or into the defense. Then the points in special defense will really pay off. Lower hit points, you can probably go with like the full hit point investment as well, and still get some good use out of the Pokemon. Now, here's the idea that I've been bouncing in my head: Calm Mind, Recover, Will-O-Wisp, Shadow Ball, or Dark Pulse. Shadow Ball just makes it to where you're really weak against normal type Pokemon, but you can still throw out a Will-O-Wisp, and really the only Pokemon that can wall you out is Pyroar, because it's fire and normal. But other than that, like, you can kind of just tick down on the Will-O-Wisp and out-recover them. It'll be more stally, but you can go with the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is really nice because it'll hit Fairies neutral, so your one weakness, you actually have a way of handling it really well. That's just my take on it. Now, what makes Sableye the perfect tank is the Magic Bounce ability. Non-damaging moves are reflected back at the user. The bane of any setup Pokemon is a Whirlwind, is a taunt, is something that shuts it down because it's mostly status. Magic Bounce says no to all of that. Magic Bounce gives Sableye a very deep dynamic, and this is where like the hit points are made up. That doesn't have raw bulk, but it has strategic bulk. That you can actually hold on to your Mega Evolution. That Prankster is excellent on this Pokemon. That by using Prankster, you have the ability to shut down your opponent physically, or just go into a Calm Mind, free special defense boost, and then you Mega Evolve, or free Will-O-Wisp, and now your defenses are off the chart compared to your opponent, and you already got set up. Or if you don't feel threatened, you know, you can wait for that turn where you think they might taunt you, where you think they might try to set up a Stealth Rock, Magic Bounce on that turn, you have the chance of throwing back some status as well as just being perfectly protected from there on out. That they have to straight up KO you, and they can't play any shenanigans. They can't Toxic you, they can't burn you, they can't status you in any way. You just keep that Magic Bounce, and now you get to sit on being the ultimate tank. That Calm Mind, you're not going to be stopped from that setup too much. 3 Calm Minds, multiply your defense by 2.5. Now you're going to be unkillable special defense-wise. With that Will-O-Wisp, it's like you have 700 defense. The hit points, it just makes you very vulnerable in the beginning. But once you have 2 Calm Minds, the hit points are made up for. If you use that Prankster for the Will-O-Wisp, but you hold on to it just right, that's going to be excellent. And then Shadow Ball, you're boosting your special attack. It's going to go up over time. You're going to have a 2-hit KO, pair that with Will-O-Wisp, and your opponent can't do anything. As Recover, it has its own form of sustain. It doesn't need Heal Bell, it doesn't need Rest, because it can't get status if you play it correctly. Get half your hit points back, throw out more than half in a damage, and it's just a better Clefable. That Audino and Sableye are very comparable to Clefable in this regard, in that like they set up with the Calm Minds, they have huge defensive bulk, and then there's nothing you can do. Mega Sableye shuts down multiple Pokemon. Like, they bring in a Pokemon physically, you Will-O-Wisp them, they might find a way around you on a second Pokemon or something, but you're going to have status, so your impact remains even once you've gone away, and that's if you go away. So pretty much, I think Mega Sableye, Audino are going to get incredible levels of play as like an extra Clefable. God, if you run Sableye and Clefable on the same team, that could just be the most filth I've ever thought of on a Pokemon team. And that's why I really like Mega Sableye as a Pokemon. Also, you have some other option ideas that, Taunt, very strong. It kind of takes away from this setup idea, but what I see is you can kind of keep the Will-O-Wisp, keep your high defenses, invest full into special defense, so now there isn't as much setup. Taunt Foul Play is going to be very nice, and Will-O-Wisp is going to take them down. Foul Play is going to do hopefully about a quarter of their health, and then you have Taunt, so that way you shut down any kind of setup. Use Taunt while you still have your Prankster, and now you can outpace a lot of Pokemon and shut them down. Mega Evolve, now they really can't do anything to you to retaliate, and you can just keep them down from there. And then also I was thinking about some other kind of crazy ideas. That this isn't a moveset, these are just some other options. That Nightshade works for flat damage instead of Shadow Ball. That Confuse Ray could be a really annoying knockoff. It also gets Power Gem. That Power Gem is kind of like the more neutral idea, because with Power Gem you're going to be doing less damage because you're not getting stabbed, but you're still going to hit fairies neutral, you're still going to have a good amount of coverage, and you can't be walled out by anything. So it could be a more reliable option. And then I just like this set the most, but these are like some other fourth slot moves that, in one of these, instead of Foul Play, you could run Nightshade or Confuse Ray. In this, you can run Power Gem or even Knockoff. If you're Knockoff Will-O-Wisping, like, even though you're not getting anything out of your Calm Mind, the idea is you don't die, and then you just outpace them. It takes them 8 turns to burn down on a Will-O-Wisp. You chip in Knockoff with that, it might be 6 turns, and you're good to go. So if you're using Knockoff, you're going to have to like go with the Careful Nature or the other one, the one that doesn't, I believe that's Bold. Yeah, go with the Bold Nature, and that's Mega Sableye. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Mega Sableye, the perfect tank, because it can't get shut down. That really the only thing, your opponent has to out-brute force it instead of Whirlwind or do some kind of taunt shenanigans that this Pokemon cannot be stopped. So I love it, and it just compares to Mega Audino and Clefable, which are some of my favorite tanks to run. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's how you use Mega Sableye.